Because fuck it. Oh,
Because
good
tech.
job. Because tech. All right, we're live.
Are we?
We're
We're
live.
Okay. All right. I
This
wasn't
is
sure
great,
when
baby.
that was gonna
I'll have some in a little
happen.
bit. This look great.
Da, da, da.
Oh, you do the intro while I finish this shit. Like this is what I
Okay.
get.
You're live on YouTube. I'm waiting for you to be live on. Waiting for us to be live on Twitch.
Are we not live on Twitch? God damn it, Twitch.
Not yet. It takes it for some reason. It seems to take a few seconds.
Why?
I always get the YouTube notification first.
Well, yeah, no, it says I'm live on Twitch. I see it.
It does. Oh, you see it? Okay.
I see it.
I guess it's just slow. I guess it's just late for me.
Okay.
There we go. All right, now I see it. Are we having fun yet? This is.
I don't even know. I don't know. Hold on one second. I wonder if I switch this.
Quit touching stuff.
What? Okay. I went to stuff. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's fine.
I'm sorry. Okay, you do the intro because I need to fix this shit and I'm a little frustrated. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. That is pretty much that today. Today.
It's a day. All right. Well, welcome to Waking Up. It is better late than never. We're here.
Is it?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Let's go with that. All right.
Yeah. Yes. We'll go with that.
We're gonna go with that. So we're just gonna do it live and not fix it in post. So welcome to Waking Up. I am one of the co-hosts. I am Shawn, and my fantastic, fabulous, tech-savvy co-host is Anna.
Oh, look at you sucking up. That's so sweet of you.
Exactly. Hey, you got the tech skills.
I do have the tech skills, except I see this is what happens when I try to like fix my computer on my own. This is bullshit.
No, you can do it. You totally got it. So yeah. So you're on Waking Up. You're on our religious podcast. And really, your podcast.
I probably need to change the topic, considering we didn't even get to that though. Okay, that's fine.
You do your thing. I'm just gonna keep talking.
You know what? I have faith in you. I have faith in you, Pep. You got it.
Thanks. All right. So, disclaimer: we are not counselors, certified counselors, therapists, any sort of mental health professional.
We're barely professionals in our anyway.
We're just making it. We are two trauma triscuits, which are square, by the way. We're two trauma triscuits. I'm gonna shut up now.
No, you go ahead. You go right ahead.
Trying to make it through our lives and sharing our journey with you guys. So we say that because do not take anything we say as therapeutic advice. We are not giving therapeutic advice. We're telling you about our lives and our journeys. So take that as is. We grew up in the Bible Belt. It is southern part of the United States, shaped like a belt and a buckle. We're smack dab in that buckle, that ginormous buckle. And what that
oh my God, what are you talking about? Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, I'm listening.
I'm giving you time to fix what you need to fix. So what does that mean? So we both grew up in the Southern Baptist Church. We grew up in a high control.
Good morning, Eric.
Hey, Eric. So we grew up in the Southern Baptist Church, which was pretty high control and not very progressive. And churches are all very different. This was our church and during the time that we grew up in our experiences. So we are still recovering from the things that affected us both within our families, within our church, and the mingling of the two. So here we are.
I love how it says mental health weather report. Fuck, it was fine until about 20 minutes ago.
Until we started trying to do this. Yeah.
I mean,
the weather report has suddenly changed.
There's a sudden shift in whatever. It's fine.
Well, it's like we say in North Carolina, if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes. If you don't like the emotional stability, wait 5 minutes.
Also fair. Also fair. Oh.
We are doing the best we can with what we got.
We're just making it. We're
making it. Yep. Two trauma triscuits in the world, just trying to make it.
Okay, so today we are talking. Now that we're 20 minutes late. Hi everyone. So we're 20 minutes late. This is what I get for trying to update my computer last night. That's what I get. That's
Microsoft. Thanks.
Yeah. Yay. And I also changed out the power source the power supply.
That's
by
pretty
myself.
impressive.
I know.
Don't
I
say
was-
you're not tech savvy when you can't swap out a power supply.
well, it's easy because like all you have to do is plug in the hole where it says the same thing. I just like put it. I like put them on top of each. I put them on top of each other and just went, okay, this one goes here, this one goes here. It wasn't that difficult. Like
It's not, but the fact that you did it. I mean, I say that about people say that about car stuff. What's not that difficult? Yeah. you are.
You've seen us on
tech savvy.
Car
You're really
Mechanic
smart.
Simulator. We don't trust any of that shit.
I know how to take off the hood. That's it.
Every time I watch that clip, I still giggle and laugh every single time. Every time. So okay, so today, we'll just dive right into this because why not? Why not dive into our trauma pretty deep? And it's like
you've seen it already.
Yeah, it's grieving the life I thought I'd have. And a lot of people don't. I feel like I know I wasn't prepared for it. I don't know about you, Shawn, but I wasn't prepared for this in that I am in this healing journey. Why am I so sad? Shouldn't I be feeling better? Shouldn't I feel good about this healing? Why do I feel worse now that I've started healing versus like I'm healing? I should be happy. Like I should be feeling better, right? And so like that was a big thing for me, like to come to grips with and come to terms with in this whole spiel of it all was that you're actually in a grieving process. Like you don't realize that you are grieving and that you are like, it's not, yes, you're healing. Yes, you are healing. And with that means having to let go of a lot of belief systems about yourself, a lot of belief systems about the people that you loved, a lot of the belief and dreams that you had to create something better. And that dream, the dream that you held on to, I think for me that I held on to for survival. And just that was that holding on to the hope and those dreams to cope. And realizing those hopes and dreams aren't necessarily reality, and maybe those hopes and dreams aren't really what you want, and they actually don't, those hopes and dreams turn out differently than you thought that they would, and it's that feeling of loss, because everything about the life that you wanted or you thought you wanted holds so much weight, especially when you're in survival mode, because it's like that whole oasis. Like it's like you're in this desert and you're just that dream that's just far enough that isn't necessarily real.
That mirage.
Right. And then you have to realize, okay, that wasn't real. That was just an idea that you invented in your mind. And that's sad, because I don't know about you, Shawn, but I built a lot of my life and my ideals and my choices around this, basically, essentially a dream. This mirage.
Fantasy.
This fantasy.
This idea. I like that you said it, the coping mechanism, and you use the word hope, because I feel like a lot of that is bound in this. When we're in that situation, when they're in survival, we need hope. We have, in order to go from day to day, moment to moment, we got to have a hope. We got to hold on to something, and our brain will conjure whatever it needs to in order to have that hope, regardless of whether it's connected to reality.
Right.
We have to have hope in order to move on, in order to move forward from day to day.
And a lot of that also is wrapped up in our faith too. Like Shawn, like we have to have faith. So that's a lot of, like, it develops into, that's why some people who develop that sort of zealot like faith is wrapped around that. I don't want to face what's inside, so I have to have faith that something else is going to be, like a faith in a deity or faith in something better, just a faith. And that's where a lot of zealots come in. That's a lot of that fervent faith that God's got a fucking plan, and
complete blind faith in that. And on top of that, it's what it's what keeps us in a bad place. We've in a way we've created our cyclical problem. We create this hope, but our faith has taught us that it's okay to suffer now because of this thing later on.
Yes.
And so we create a hope, and we suffer, and we say it's okay to suffer in this moment because of this hope.
And don't, like, I don't know about you, but I know, but because I did it way earlier, younger in my life. But when you lose that faith, it becomes devastating.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like all of a sudden you realize that maybe God isn't what you believed it to be. Maybe your Christian faith isn't as kind and loving and healthy as you thought it was. And it's that incredible letdown, that disappointment, that heartbreak of, that sort of like that, we always come back to that How I Met Your Mother, like glass shattering.
Yes. That episode.
And you can't go back. You can't. Once you cross that line, there's no going back. There is no going back. There's
no genie in the bottle.
No.
Can't put the genie in the bottle.
Yeah. Can't unring that bell, and that's devastating. Devastating, and it sometimes. I think the big thing that I felt was lost. Like, not just losing my faith, but losing that, especially in this mental health journey, just lost. Who am I? Oh, because you start unpacking of, is it my trauma or is it my personality? And then you realize a lot of it is your trauma. And you're like, who am I if I am not this person?
And that's absolutely, who am I? Who is this person? None of it really makes sense. And it's like, and you're having to unpack everything and go and feel like, which category does it fit into? Is it my trauma? Is it me? Is it like, is this what I really like? Especially when you're a people pleaser, because so much of what life becomes, and I say we because we are both people pleasers. Yeah. Is so much of we're so adaptive because we're trying to people please. So we're so adaptive to everything. And after you do that for so long, I'm convinced that I like this thing because I've always liked this thing, but I only liked it because
somebody else liked it.
And that is just, it's kind of gut wrenching to go, oh my God, do I really like that? Or do I really not like that? Or what is me? Where do I start? Where does other people stop and I start?
I don't know.
Let me know when you figure that out.
Let me know.
Yeah, because we didn't just stop becoming people pleasers. That's the thing. It's not like we just stopped that and then we're moving on.
Magical. Like the urges are still there. We just have tools to recognize the urges and go.
Yeah, there it is.
Did your lives not turn out as you wish? No. No.
Not at all.
No. I think Shawn and I both, because of the church, had the same idea of what our life would look like.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
I was going to marry some good Christian girl. And
he tried. You tried.
I did. I tried. Yeah. I broke up with people because they weren't that.
You both look so accomplished. Oh, okay. Well, I appreciate that, Eric.
Yeah,
we do. I thank you. Just hold on. We're about to show you the people behind the curtain. So it's fine. So
we do not. That I need to put that in the disclaimer. We do not have it all together.
That is in the disclaimer.
Oh, I must have missed it then.
You did mess it up.
I missed it. You're right. Yeah. So yeah, that was growing up in the church. That was one of the big things. Was so much about growing up in the church was finding your partner, finding your partner and having kids.
Yeah.
And so that was just it became so ingrained that it became that was just what was going to happen. I was going to find a good Christian girl, and I was going to get married, and I was going to have kids, and I was going to raise them as good Christian kids.
Yeah, and I think as on the female aspect, like what does a what does a fulfilled life look like?
Yeah.
And a fulfilled life looked like for a woman is you find a good man who is able to support you, that you were able to have kids and live in a good, like even a Christian home, but that oh yeah, Eric. We just wait. In that you have the family and the kids, and for me, it was find a man who checked all the boxes, and I feel like that's like that a lot of times because I was engaged before. I checked a lot of boxes for a lot of people, save one. I was not obedient. Shocker. I mean, I'm obedient now, but that's a different podcast.
Yeah, I was about to say you are in certain conditions,
but that was later on in life after. But it's finding the husband that will take care of you, but they didn't explain what they didn't say. And here, Shawn, I think I know you. Like I can't speak 100% for you, but I can sort of guess. They didn't talk about the emotional fulfillment. They talked about faith, but they never talked about your spouse should emotionally fulfill you, should mentally fulfill you, should sexually fulfill you. And those not having those things, you should just be okay accepting that those didn't exist, and that was okay.
But they also taught that this one person that you picked, this person that you were supposed to pick early on, because they kept driving you towards that person that you picked when you were young was going to be your person forever.
I was engaged 3 times before I got married. Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Can you imagine my first fiance, Shawn? That one being my person forever?
I don't think I can imagine any of them.
Fair. That's also fair. It was this dream. They sold you. It's just, I feel like that's why I get a little jaded about the religion and faith, is like they sell you this dream, sort of like this timeshare in heaven. And we've talked about that before, like this promise of like, it's always the promise. They sell you the promise and never the reality. And then the reality comes crashing in. You met her he was roommates with my first fiance. It was not a good thing. It was not good. Not good. Not good. No bueno. So it sells you this dream, and then the reality comes crashing in, regardless of how that looks. And like for me, we talk like, what did I dream? What did we dream of being? I wanted to be a band director. I wanted to be like this because I knew I had the talent. I was a great teacher. And for me at the time, music was just a life raft for all of the shit that was going on in high school and in college. And I wanted to be this band director. And I've told the story before for all our new people. I remember there's one time I was in my 3rd year of college, and I was waiting outside for my lesson, and I went, and for some reason the thought popped into my head, what if I don't want to do this? What does my life look like if I don't want to do this? Because I could feel it. My me, the me that was in there, the me that was like screaming, the real me was going, you don't want to do this. This is not what you want to do for the rest of your life. Yes, it brings you happiness, but this is not what you want to do. But I pushed it aside because I had a goal, I had a plan, and I was going to follow that plan. And then the reality comes crashing in, and I was devastated. And like I was lost, and I spent many years lost. And then I found, I got married and I had kids. And so then that's when my dream, like, okay, my new goal and plan in life. But again, I love I loved being a wife and I love being a mother. I love being a mother. But what that looks like, I had built my life around what I thought it should look like until I just couldn't take it anymore, and it just shattered. The floor just, and I ended up mourning that. 2 years ago when I first moved out, there was a lot of when reality sets in, and the fear of what I don't know who I am or what it looks like, and I'm lost. And that's the biggest thing. It's like, what if I'm so lost? And it hurts because that person that I was trying to be doesn't exist anymore. And it's hard. It's so hard.
You feel aimless. You feel just floating in space. You don't have a direction. You don't know where you're going. You don't know which side is up. One of the biggest ones for me was going through my divorce. That's one of the most profound ones. And I came from a home. I came from a home that did not have divorce in it, so that was not something that I'd experienced. And I didn't know how to deal with it. I was even in therapy, and I still didn't know. I didn't really know how to deal with it. I didn't know what to expect. And I didn't know what was okay and what was not okay. I remember having a conversation with where I was like, I don't know how to feel about this, because I was happy. I was in a way, I was glad that I was going to be moving on, because I knew the marriage wasn't healthy, wasn't working. But I was sad. I was very sad about about the situation. I was still like, I was trying to consolidate these two emotions and accept that they were both there. And I didn't think that was right. Like I had trouble consolidating the two. And that they could both exist at the same time. And that's where I think I started learning the whole "and" thing. It's like, yeah, and that's what you told me. You're like, yeah, you can do both. It's okay that you can feel this and feel this at the same time. And of course, through therapy, that's been reinforced and whatnot, that exists, and that, especially in a relationship, no matter whether it's healthy or unhealthy, when it ends, there's a grieving process.
You can be okay and understand that this had to happen and that it needed to happen, and still hurt like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like hurt like a motherfucker, that it's over. Not necessarily hurt that you, and this is where a lot of people go back to their exes, is that when they don't understand that pain is normal. They interpret that, and I know I did for several different relationships, that maybe I made a mistake because I am hurting. That's good. Maybe not. I mean, I can't say that 100%, but the reality is you're gonna hurt even if it was the right thing to do, because
I got it.
Okay. You're going to still hurt because you are hurting for the hope and the pain, and that is what you're grieving. You're not grieving the fact that maybe I made the wrong choice. What you're grieving is all of the things. Hi, Asta. You're grieving all of the things that you hoped would be, that you thought would be, that you start remembering all the good times, and because those good times are the things that shaped your hope and dreams for the future, what you thought could be. You are grieving what you thought you could have, not what you did have. And I think but that's where the "and" comes in. You can be, you can understand that this relationship, and you shouldn't be in this relationship, and still hurt that this relationship no longer exists. And that is a very hard place to be.
Yeah.
So hard.
I like what you said about hurting, feeling that hurt and interpreting that hurt as, well, maybe I shouldn't have left the relationship, or maybe I should reconnect the relationship, and that is not. You're going to hurt whenever you have a devastating, whenever your hopes, your dreams have been shattered, like in a breakup, in a divorce. That is completely normal to feel devastated by that. Like in my relationship, was married for 15 years, almost 15 years, and it ended. It needed to end, and even though it was painful and unhealthy, there's still these ideas, these hopes, these thoughts, these possibilities that are no longer going to happen. It's very finite. It's that shift from theoretical from an idea to being finite.
Mm-hmm.
And that the finality of it, that it is a finite thing, that those things that I thought will never happen. They could have happened at one point, no matter how far-fetched it was. They could have happened. They will not happen. It's very finite, and that hit me hard. Like, it kind of lets the air out, and it's like, wow, it's just never gonna happen.
Yeah. I mean, and that's easy to say in relationships, but let's move forward to when it happens as you as a person, like you as an individual, because I think that it happens more often than not. And a lot of people don't. I know I didn't recognize what grieving your past self looked like or felt like, and how hard that was. I feel that I just lost. Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds terrible.
And grieving that friendship is like
Completely normal.
Shawn and I grieved when we stopped being friends.
Yes.
I did grieve. I remember because he got married the day before my birthday that next year, and I remember I was actually going to a funeral because a mutual friend of ours died, and unexpectedly, and so I was heading to, and I passed by their church. I remember I passed by his church, and I was with my fiance at the time, fiance number 2, and I was with him at the time, and we were driving to the church where the funeral was being held, and we passed by the church Shawn was getting married at, and I saw all the cars and stuff, and I remember just it hurting, and it was like that was very painful because, like, but I wanted him to be happy, so it was one of those, it's just and that's exactly right. You cannot control other people, and that's the other hard thing that I had to come to terms with, because as a people pleaser and as my trauma, like, everything was my fault. So I obviously, if something bad was happening, I should be able to fix it, right? No. But we are here for you, Asta, and we are glad that you're here. So, but grieving the people we thought we would be, and that happens, and it happens more often than not than I think that we realize that it is. Especially when we make big life choices, which is why I think big life choices are so scary for people. Not just divorce, but getting married, making a commitment. Because making a commitment to somebody else means letting go of the person, letting go of that single life, letting go of that person that isn't a couple. Like, yes, you should maintain your individuality in your relationship, but you also have to understand that being in a relationship means considering somebody else's choices and feelings, and considering their goals, and having two people in a decision. You can't just unilaterally make a choice and it not affect somebody else, and that's a big deal, and that's a big change. And so that's why a lot of people don't want to make that commitment.
Yeah. Because you're giving up who you are, who you were, and embracing something that is completely unknown, which is difficult. That's difficult whether you're starting a family, where you're ending a relationship, getting a divorce, whatever, changing anything, shifting any big change. you are going through a grieving process of what you were and where your life was going, and these ideas, whether you realize it or not, you've got ideas. You create these thoughts about what you will be, who you will be at some point in the future, what you will be doing. Changing jobs is another one of those.
Oh yeah.
The direction you were going, I thought I was going to be this big thing, and then nope, you completely change. And so it is okay to grieve that job, that relationship, that person you were,
Right.
and move on, because there are times where you need to, but it's still okay to grieve it.
Yeah, and it just comes up. What?
I was reading As's comment, a big choices I hide from them. So I just like, I get that whole hiding, not wanting to make the choice. Which by the way, I know, right?
What? Stop it.
Not making a choice is a choice. Just throwing that out there.
Say that for the people in the back. Say that louder for people in the back that can't hear
Not
you.
making a choice is still a choice. Still making a choice. That's something that I did, because I was absolutely avoiding the choices, just letting things happen. Like, just, I'll figure it out later. I don't want to, all the anxiety about dealing about a choice. Oh yeah, that was tough.
What?
So I get that. I mean, I recently changed jobs after I'd been in a job for 14 years. That was scary. And I even more than that. What the job could have been if I had stayed. What it could have, what I could be doing right now. So.
This happens to everyone, and it happened to me. And I think the biggest thing that I felt was fear. When I moved out and I was finally facing the reality of a lot of things in my life and about who I was and my trauma. And it was so hard. Like, I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. In facing that, even if I, let's just say I moved back in, and it's not going to be the same. I am not the same. Mm-hmm. And there's a sense of, did I fail? There is that sense of, did I fail? There's that sense of that person of, you could have tried harder. You could have done more. Why? That whole feeling of, and that's part of a mourning process, is I could have done more. I could have been different. Had I known, had I insert whatever here, I could have had it. And the reality is that you are where you are, and that's okay. And letting go of that person, and not only letting go of that idea and that person who you thought you were, and that feeling of failure, and that sense to that, not only that feeling of failure and shame, but that feeling of just being lost, and everything seems chaotic because you don't have a direction, because the direction you were going, it like there was a big fucking landslide, and that's no longer passable for you anymore, and now you got to turn around, or you got to find an alternate route, and you don't know what to do, and it's scary, and you're like, I don't know where to go from here. I don't know what that looks like. And I remember my therapist asking me, what do you want for your future self? I'm like, fuck if I know. I literally said, fuck if I know. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I sat there and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what I want for my future self. I mean, I gave the whole, I want to feel at peace. I want to feel happy. I gave those generic things that like everybody says, because everybody wants that. But she's like, okay, well, what does happiness look like to you? Because that changes. What does success look like to you? Because that changes. Because everything that you knew before is now different. Mm-hmm. And it's scary, and it hurts. It hurts. And I still don't know right now. Like, I'm in a place right now where I got a lot of like question marks, and I'm like, what do I want for myself? And it's like, I don't know. And those are big, scary choices. And I have to understand that voice, that feeling of shame and that feeling of failure isn't real. That's my trauma. Mm-hmm. And it still hurts. And you get angry. Shawn, did you get angry? Like, I don't know about you, but like livid angry. Like, there was a time it's just like any grieving process. Like, you know, you go through that super, super sad, and then you get fucking livid.
Yep. I got angry. I got angry at myself for like when I was going through the divorce. I got angry with myself for letting this go on so long. How could I do this? How could I let this happen? I get angry at her for the things that she did to me. I got angry at those situations happening. There's this period where it's like everything's just angry about everything. Why is this my life now? This is not what my life was supposed to be. Then there's the anger at the should. This shouldn't have happened. This is completely not should. Yeah. Whenever we're talking about these things, should tends anytime that comes out, you're like, yeah. There's
who
a
said?
whole lot
and that's the thing. Whenever I say should, somebody goes, "Who said?"
Yeah, that's that. So that's the thing. That's all that. A lot of times, that's all the stuff we've created in our heads. These are our ideas. These are our expectations. Shame and failure is one of the biggest things that I think I dealt with. I think Eric asked earlier about like, were you worried about what other people would think, whether like other people in the church and stuff? Well, when the time that I went through mine was in the COVID times, and so there wasn't much church to be had at that point, and that really wasn't a big deal for me. There's a ton of people in church that are divorced. For me, it was the shame. I felt like a failure. I felt like I put in all this time. I put in all this effort. I was like, if I had just done something different, if I can't make the marriage work, then I can't make anything work. I took it as like a personal failure. Mm-hmm. That I didn't try hard enough, that I didn't give more. If I had just done things differently, if I had just abound. In that situation,
right? So. This is a statement that I still struggle with. Normalize mourning a version of yourself, of your life, even if your current one is better.
Ooh, yeah. That's why I said it doesn't matter how bad the situation was, whether it's the job or a relationship. It's still painful. It's still mourning. It's still grieving.
I think where I addressed this, especially in my healing journey and all of this, I would say, and actually C-Rugs was the one that often challenged this one because, you know, he was going through his own therapy. And so like it's easier to help somebody when you're not in it. But it was, my life was so much easier before this. Ooh. Especially when I was struggling super hard with the trauma, and I was struggling super hard with the trying to find out my direction in life, and I was trying to find out what I wanted, because that was as a people pleaser, I don't know about you, Shawn, but for me as a people pleaser, that is still to this day the hardest thing, is asking myself, what do I want? What is the best for me? What is good for me? What is it? Who am I? And what is going to help me accomplish my goals? Because you don't fucking know.
Nope. Not at all. If in a vacuum, I have no idea. That's so much of my life has been, Well, what do you think about that? It's kind of that mirroring and
Right.
that adjusting, because it wasn't like I always did whatever, but there was always some sort of adjustment to it. As soon as I knew what that person thought about it or felt about it, I would kind of adjust mine to that.
Mhm.
For someone to ask me, when my therapist asked me those questions, like, "What do you want to do? What do you think? What do you?"
Right, right.
I
And
don't know.
it's
What
one
do you
of
think?
those, I would struggle with that, and I would be crying and I would be upset and I would be like, it was just so much easier. It was so much easier before any of this. And they're like, was it easier? Was it really easier?
Hmm.
But it wasn't. It wasn't. And then that's when you start to romanticize the life that you had and the life that you could have had. That's when you start to romanticize it.
Hmm.
Because it's that's when that's a whole, like, if somebody dies and they're like, all of a sudden you're remembering how much of a wonderful person they were, when really, like, you fucking, like, every time you saw their name on your phone you're like, fucking shit. Hi, like, like, okay, I get it. Like, but that's how I felt sometimes about parts of it, because I don't know. It was so much easier when I let somebody else make the choice for me, but it wasn't easier. I wasn't happier. I wasn't. I was miserable, which is why I made the choice to do something different. And it was.
It's admitting that is an important part. Is those thoughts we're gonna have. I'm gonna have those thoughts, especially like about an ex. I'm gonna have those thoughts. So realizing that I'm going to have those thoughts, but that doesn't mean that I should go back. That doesn't mean that things were better, things are great, things were whatever. I'm It's just natural for that to happen.
Right.
I mean, you think about, and the same thing about my ex, thinking about, like, oh, the good times that we had. Yeah, great. They were good times. That is all that was. That was a good moment in life. And leaving it at that. And that's hard. That is not easy. It may make it sound like it's easy. It's not. It is hard. But it's recognizing that that's what it is.
Yeah. Oh, this is painful. Like, okay, just warning you, I'm already like, I may or may not cry on this episode. Because this is one that really just, this guts me every time. Because Shawn and I, like, it's very much, we're those people. Mm-hmm. We have this idea. We were told that we had to have this idea. We have this idea, and we need to, because deviating from that means having to admit that we were wrong, that we made mistakes, that maybe this isn't the right choice for us, and that's not okay. That in our head, we were in the belief system that that's not okay. But it is
I'm
okay.
wrong, this did not turn out how I wanted it to turn out, and so that's bad.
Because we did it as a survival technique. Yeah. We had to hold on to this vision because that was the only thing. We had to learn how to gaslight ourselves.
Ooh, yeah.
Because that was the only way we were able to justify what was happening to us, justify the choices that we were making for ourselves, justify all of the things that we were going through, because that was the only way we were surviving, mentally and emotionally. That was the only way that we were able to hold on. It's because here's this mirage, here's this idea, here's this concept, which our religious upbringing made that fucking super easy. Because again, like we said in the beginning, it sold us this dream. It sold us this dream. And as long as, like, no matter what was going on, we just had to have faith. So we had to have faith that the goodness is just this is what we have to do to get to the good thing. And
run the race. Here's our prize.
Right. But the reality is we're allowed to have good things, that it's not about the ultimate prize. It's about every day. And it's about living with ourselves, and that it's not and I know this sounds cliche, it is not about the destination. It is the journey, and that the journey doesn't have to fucking suck. That every day it doesn't have to be a fucking fight. That we don't have to live in that fight or flight every fucking day. That we don't have to do that. And that when you realize and you come to that realization, that's when I got pissed off. That's when I got angry, because then all of a sudden it's like, you mean I didn't have to do all of that shit? That means I didn't have to go to that trauma. I didn't have to hurt like that. But I was convinced that I did, to make for this ultimate goal, because that's how you get there. That's not how you fucking get there. And then that's when you go, well, if that's the case, how the fuck do I get there? Because I don't know.
Yeah, everything we've been doing for the last X number of years didn't work. So wow, what is the right path? GPS.
And then somebody goes, but that's your choice. And you're like, what the fuck? No, because for the past 40-something years, you've been telling me that it's somebody else's choice, and I just need to follow, just pick one, and I can just follow that instruction manual. But then really, the reality is it's not a step-by-step instruction Lego build. It's a free-for-all, create your own. And you're like, what the hell?
No. That's like the blank page. Like, when you tell me I can do anything and I can just whatever, you give me a blank page, paralysis. That's what I experience. I'm like, just draw something. What? Like, I need details. Give me step by step. Give me the information. Give me the manual. So coming to a point where I'm like, I'm now kind of a blank page. I can do whatever. I can pursue whatever. I can go. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. I
think that's the one part of, first off, therapy has helped me, but two, where being a designer has helped me. And it's one of those, it's okay that what you envisioned for this quote unquote idea is different than somebody else's. It doesn't mean you fucked up. That doesn't mean that you did a bad job, or I'm a bad artist, or it just means that I'm supposed to be giving them what they want. But that doesn't necessarily mean what I gave them was bad. And I think that is something that I have taken, that I've sort of taken out of my professional life and put into my personal life. And that doesn't mean that if I create something and it's just like, maybe that's not right, I'm going to start over. Like, that it's not, it doesn't mean that what I created was bad. It just wasn't right.
Ooh, yeah, I could take a lesson. I could learn from that. That is not me. I am very much that. Oh, that didn't work. Oh, so you're saying I failed at it? You're saying I did something wrong? You're telling me I got to do it all over again? Oh, yeah. That's that's why I look at I look at what you do, and I'm like, I can't. I struggle with that. Like the idea of, oh, well, here, let me adjust. It's not what you want, so let me just do it again or whatever. You don't like what I did? Oh, that's a you problem. that's the part where I kind of struggle. And that's actually been kind of throughout my life is goals versus plans. I am all about making some plans. And when those plans often involve other people. And when those plans don't happen the way I want them to happen, especially when the other person is the reason those plans didn't happen, that's where the anger comes out. And I don't mean anger as in like I go off on them. I mean as in like I become passive aggressive and petty. What's that on your mug? Yeah. Oh my god.
Trying to keep my face from saying it.
Subtitles. Oh, the subtitles.
Yeah. Shawn and I think that's where it's like I will have said something, Shawn creates something in his mind, and he's like, then all of a sudden, like, I'll change, and he's like, yeah, it's
what? Yeah. What you said about, well, this didn't happen.
Did you
What?
say anything? Did we talk about that?
Oh, that's a nasty one for me. I'm all about creating expectations in my head and not conveying expectations and then getting upset with those expectations. Yeah.
Well, okay. Here, actually, I just thought of something. I'm gonna deviate. Speaking of deviating from,
We're not going by the plan. What?
Okay, keep going.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna keep going.
Okay.
Yeah.
There. Oh, okay. These stages of grief, like this was not in our outline, but it just made me think of that. Okay, let's go through the stages of grief and how this is applied to us, because like this is big. Okay, so the first one is shock. The stage may involve numb disbelief in response to news of a loss. It may serve as an emotional buffer to prevent somebody from feeling overwhelmed. It's that moment. Everybody, it's that moment. And like Shawn, I know I've had it several times. Shawn, I'm pretty sure you've had it several times. It's like that moment of realization, or that choice, or that decision. You may not have said it out loud. You may not have like done anything about it, but it's that moment.
It just clicks in your head. There's a switch.
It feels almost like you've been slapped.
Yeah.
I think every single time that I have had a situation where I've come through a realization of major change or loss, regardless of what it looks like, that is where, like, especially when it comes to like my ideals and my belief systems. You know what the big one was for me?
What?
I am not hard to love. Now, so everybody can say like, well, of course not. Like that seems like something that would be very like lift a weight off your shoulders, right? That seems like a statement that would be like, oh my gosh, wouldn't that fill you full of joy and happy? It didn't. And here, let me tell. Oh, okay, because I still struggle with this one. Because the reality is when it finally clicked that I wasn't hard to love, my entire existence of what I thought of who I was and how I saw myself and I saw my relationships with other people completely collapsed. Because I wasn't hard to love. And everything about who I am and my life up to that point all of a sudden looked completely different. And I just sat there in that moment. And I honestly felt like I'd been punched in the face, in the chest, in the gut. I couldn't breathe. It was just this shock of realization that I'm not hard to love. And everything collapsed. And that is that moment of realization for me. That was the biggest one that found the biggest foundation shaker for me, which happened about a year ago, and it's been wrecking me ever since. So it's fine. And I'm going to use humor to get through this. Otherwise, I'm going to sit here as a puddle. So, so folks, this is me.
Do.
This is me using my coping mechanism, and that's just what we got to do.
That is absolutely. For me, I don't have to earn someone's love. For me, it's I don't have to do this and do that, and I don't have to constantly do and prove that I am lovable in order to be worthy of love. Because I spent my entire life proving by acts, by doing, by fixing, my entire life has been about solving one problem after another in order to show them that I am important enough, good enough, lovable enough to be around, to keep around. So it was unsettling to come to that realization. Was actually unsettling for me. It's because I'm sitting here going, wait, I don't have to do this. I don't have to fix this problem. I don't have to white knight this and solve that. What the heck am I doing? What point? What point do I have? What's my purpose in here? Like they're just supposed to love me. I'm just supposed to let
Shut
them.
up! Shut up! What? You devil talk!
I'm just
talking that shit.
They're just gonna love me for me? Nah. I can't. That is unsettling. No, that I can just be instead of constantly do.
Stage 2, denial.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Shawn. But see, that's what I feel like that you sit in the shock, and the shock period lasts like different times for different people, but it's almost immediate for me, that realization, because then that voice, because all those years of trauma, just because you come to the realization doesn't mean that voice goes away. This is like all of a sudden poof, it disappears. No, because that's when you have to
there.
It's always there, and that's when you have to work. That's where the work starts, right there. You come to that realization. So it comes to that shock. For me, it was, I am not hard to love. Then all of a sudden, here comes that voice, and it's, here's a list of all of the ways that you are truly unlovable, and you're like,
they were, that voice was whispering, because that voice was always there. It was just kind of like whispering in the back of the room. Now that voice has suddenly stood up and taken a seat at the table and went, you will listen to me right now. I'm gonna tell you.
It's like the CEO overlord. Like if you're thinking about it in the family, internal family systems, and they're all sitting, like for me, I imagine them sitting around a meeting table, and everybody, the committee's all like needed, and it's like that overlord CEO that was just sort of there. It was a figurehead, everything that they had, but then all of a sudden they realize that shit's about to like just fall apart, so they need to come and like, okay, no, I'm gonna remind you who the boss is, and that's when that is, because in the denial, because again, you come to the shock and the realization that your life, that everything, the foundation of everything that you built upon is not real, or everything is about to change. That denial part of you is still trying to protect you, because that part, that realization, that shock is going, your life is going to be different from now on, and you don't want, and there's a part of you is like, I'm not ready to face that. And sometimes we live in that denial for a lot longer than we want to admit. But here's the ways I'm not lovable. Here's the reasons that like I'm, because those are the problems, right? Those are the things I need to fix. Because if I truly embrace exactly what the reality is, whether it be a death or like that realization, if I truly embrace that, I can't. It's not real. That's not right. That can't be right. Because if that's right, that means everything about my life is about to be different, and that's scary, and I can't do that. I can't. That's the unknown, and that's scary, and I can't, because that means that I've got to do work, and that I've got to, there's just stuff after that, and so that isn't real.
My when I'm doing the IFS work, it is also it's a conference room. It just makes sense to me.
I love how we both have the same, like, it's a conference room. Some people have like living rooms. Some people have like we have a conference room.
And you're right. It's the CEO that suddenly spins around in their chair, that goes, this is how we've done it for so long, and we're gonna this works. We know this works. We're going to continue doing it. We're going to continue this road. We're going to continue believing these things, these core beliefs. We're going to keep this train on the tracks because this has worked. But it hasn't. And so who's standing up to the CEO going, yeah, but it hasn't. It's we've gone from one moment to the next, but has it really worked? Has it really gotten us? And just because it worked at one point, is that the right way to, is that how we should be going forward? And that starts the big IFS back and forth in the head, in my head, is trying to listening to those voices, especially the one that is, this is all, it's always been this way.
I may make it through this without breaking down. I may or may not. And I'm feeling
it is what it is.
So the third stage is anger.
Mm-hmm.
And this is actually one. Okay, this is one that I still struggle with. This stage, I've gone through this stage, but I haven't really like sat with this stage, because I wasn't allowed to be angry about it. Because again, I became the queen of gaslighting. I became the queen of that. And I think I remember very distinctly, actually not long ago, it had to be in January because it was right before my therapist went on maternity leave. And I remember I was actually talking about my kids and how my kids are so much like me and how they're just different parts of my personality and how easy it is for them to be loved. And I was just like, I got angry. And I got angry, and I'm an angry crier. Like it's one or the other. I either cry, I'm so angry, or I like throw things and get violent and go black out. And that's a part of me. If you ever get me to the person where I'm blacking out angry, then you've pushed yourself into a deep part of myself that I try very hard to maintain control over. I just started to cry. And she's like, why are you so sad? I was like, I'm not sad, I'm angry. Because I wasn't hard to love. Because it's so easy to love my kids. And I have spent my entire life thinking that I was so hard to love and molding my life and my choices and my personality and my choices of like career and my life and how I looked, what I liked, things I did, because I thought I was just trying to make myself easy to love. And it was so infuriating. Like I was so angry, and I'm still very angry about it. And then on top of that, let's add that nice little layer of icing on that. And it's just like, but you should forget, that whole with my mom and all that. It's like, you should just, but I'm different now. You should forgive me, like, and act like it doesn't, like, it's fine now. You can go fuck 6 ways to Sunday off. Because just because you're different now, I'm different now, that doesn't make it any more right. And acting like I shouldn't be angry about what you did, acting like it's like I shouldn't be angry. That's why I'm here, and that's why I'm angry.
Absolutely.
And then that's that grieving process of anger. And that's when you're just like, you can go fuck yourself. And that's when, like, when somebody dies, you get angry. And it's okay to get angry at that person. And it's not that you're angry at the person because they died. You're angry because they left. Because now you're angry at maybe not the person, but you're angry that they left you, that now your life is different. You're angry because they no longer exist in your everyday life or whatever that is. And that's why you're angry. You're angry from the loss. You're angry at the loss. You're angry at that. And that's where I am. It's just like, I'm angry at this loss of time, and I'm angry at this loss of what I could have been had I been loved in a way and made to believe that it was okay, that I was not hard to love. That anger was more that loss. That's me.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Shawn?
Anger's usually the emotion that I can tap into, but I'm not allowed to express. It comes out differently. But I already talked about like going through the divorce and being angry at everyone, being angry because this was the expectation of me, because I listened to everyone, because I didn't have to be here. Like this didn't have to. I was angry at my younger self for putting me in this situation.
Oh,
that's something that has come up in therapy a lot, especially early on. I was constantly angry with my younger self. I refused to give my younger self grace for putting me in this situation. And yeah, that was a tough one to work on, is accepting what happened, and that my younger self isn't to blame for this. But yeah, the anger was even though I can tap into anger, I also learned not you're not really supposed to be angry. It's all supposed to be like you can be angry, but you can't be angry. And so it was like I'm angry, but like I then gaslight myself as to why I really shouldn't be angry, because I also didn't know how to deal with the anger in a healthy way. So it was easier to just gaslight myself and convince myself that I shouldn't be angry. I didn't have a reason to be angry. I just intellectualized the anger and just explain it away, but it never really went away. It was always there. It may have lowered a little bit, but it was still simmering. It was still on the stove, just right under that surface. And it didn't take much to push that beyond that. Until I dealt with that anger, it didn't take much for something to just crank that anger right back up, because it was always simmering.
You know what I realized? Just I was sitting here thinking about it. You don't rage quit anymore.
I don't.
It's because you're dealing, like, I'm gonna assume it's because you're dealing with that sense of like failure, and that like if you're not you're not accomplishing the thing. But like Shawn used to rage quit his games all the time. All the time. Like we had it like when we first rebooted, like it was like he would so angry. He was talking about boiling over, and I'm like, are you really angry about the game? Just yeah, but
no, but you're right. That's because I've let a lot of that go, and I've let go the need to be perfect and the need to be the best at everything.
You've let it go.
I'm letting it. I'm in the process of working
okay.
Let's be accurate. Let me call it accurate.
Okay. I'm just making sure. I'm just making sure we're all on the same page. Okay.
Yep.
I'm like,
I stay away from anger because I know when my anger disorder I can't control. Gotcha.
I wonder if this is gonna change. Oh.
What are you trying to do?
There, change the color. You can see it.
I was like, what are you?
It was bothering me. My brain is going, this is a vulnerable topic, and you know how I feel about vulnerability. I need something else.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger.
The little red line.
Yeah.
I feel like, okay, so anger, I'm going to address this just real quickly, and I am not a healthcare professional by any means. I feel like anger is something that it is this, and here's what my therapist has told me. Anger, and I have said this on here before, anger is a secondary emotion. So anger is the one that a lot of males feel a lot, because it is the thing that they were allowed to feel growing up, and anger is not an easy thing for women to accomplish, because they are not allowed to, as society is not allowed them to feel anger or express anger. They are allowed to feel it, they just don't express it. hence all the backbiting and the unders, like all of that. But the reality is that when you feel anger, you have, once you get into that healing journey, remember it's a secondary emotion, which means yes, you are allowed to feel angry, but there is always a underlying primary emotion, whether it's fear, whether it's shame, whether it's there is a primary sadness, there is a primary emotion to that. So understand that when you feel that anger, and I don't want to feel that anger, okay, that's okay. That's okay to be scared of the anger or fear that anger, but to also understand that that is a secondary emotion, and that, there's something underlying that, telling you that. And that's something that's helped me. Because if I'm going to be real honest, I told my therapist I was afraid to feel angry. I'm still afraid to feel angry, which is why I cry. I've sort of my brain has sort of gotten to the point where it cries when I'm very angry, because if I go past the point of crying, I get scary. And when I get scary, there is a
things will happen.
Not good. No. And I know it's sort of hard for some of, especially our community, to go, what? I'm like,
people that have never seen you go and move in that direction, be pushed in that direction.
Yeah. It's a very dark place that I try very hard to not get to if I can. I try to address the primary emotion before I let the secondary emotion take control. Yeah.
That's what I will try. I've been trying to ask myself whenever I feel that coming on is recognizing that, okay, this is a secondary. What's fueling this anger? And I'm not trying to intellectualize it as in I shouldn't feel this way. No, I'm allowed to feel this way. Where's the fuel? What's pouring the gasoline on this one? Is it the fear? Is it the shame? In my life, shame and fear are just they're almost always present. So it's okay, so what exactly am I afraid of? Or what am I trying to protect? What do I feel? I'm feeling something. And so just try to get into that a little bit and understand where that's coming from.
Yeah, Asta, that's probably I get that. I've had actually a couple friends that's happened to them before. And so you're not alone. I think to put it in simplest terms as possible, the anger is the fire. What is the thing that is burning? That's what I try to with my therapist. The fire is the anger. What is the thing that ignited it and is caught and is burning?
Yeah.
And so I try to look at it that way. But fourth thing is bargaining. Bargaining involves thoughts such as, I will do anything if you take away the pain.
Ooh, yeah.
This stage may come at any point within the grieving process. Guilt frequently accompanies it. This one's hard.
That's not willing. I don't want to accept it. I want to change it. I want if I could just do it all over again. If I could. Bargaining with God always, that was the thing with me is is if I prayed hard enough.
This is the part where it's if I made different choices.
Yeah. Yep.
If I was a different person, would this take away if
I had just.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What do I have to do?
Is there something more that I can do to make this, to change this, for it to be different? And I think this is, I think in relationships, this is where you can end up in a very unhealthy place. because we're looking for, I think we're looking for a measure of control, that we're trying to do something about it. And bargaining gives us that feeling of control.
Yep. This is when the reality sets in, I think, for me. The
Mhm.
bargaining, that's when I was like, the reality sets in. Like for me, when that whole I'm not hard to love. And then it's like I get angry about it. And then it's like, okay, the reality of it, and it hurts. What do I have to do? What do I have to do? Whether it be, and sometimes the bargaining is with yourself. What it like, okay, like make this go. I'm hurting so badly. What do I have to do? Like what like maybe like you're just throwing everything at the wall, just trying to make that pain stop.
It feels like it never will.
No. And that's when you like, it's that desperation.
Yep.
It's you're sitting in that pain and you want that pain to go away. So you're not, that's where it's that bargaining of, I'm sitting in this pain of the reality of whatever situation I'm in, whether it be somebody died, we've broken up or whatever. What do I have to do to make this stop? What do I have to do? Sometimes it's, and this is where like a lot of times, you're just like, and this is where a lot of people try to get back together with their friends. Like you try to bargain with yourself, or for me, it's very much like, what do I have to do? I will do anything. But then you say you'll do anything. And then like when my therapist says, okay, well, you need to start doing these things. And I'm like,
but not that.
Do I mean,
I'll do, no, I'll do
anything
never,
for love, but I won't do that.
do
like,
that.
like
I was trying not to go meatloaf on you.
Right. No, it's fine. But that's what bargaining is. Bargaining is like you're back and forth with that part of yourself. Like you need to do this, but I don't want to do that. But I want this to stop. So where can we find that meet in the middle of like, because this is a massive change and a massive choice, and you have to do all those things, and you're like, fuck that shit.
I will do anything as long as it's not too difficult. And the healthy things are the things that usually that feel difficult. Making the positive choices. The easy things are the unhealthy things.
I will do anything except the thing that needs to be done.
Yes. Because we're not looking to work through the pain. We're looking to get rid of the pain.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where all of the unhealthy things are usually the quick fixes.
Mm-hmm. And this is where the bargaining with God.
Yes. Yeah.
Like that's where, like in the religion, you're praying. This is where they get all fervent.
Take it away. Take it away.
Just take it away. I don't want to feel it anymore. What do I have to do? Do I have to be more devout? Do I have to go to my Bible more? Do I have to do this? Whatever I have to do. I don't let this be real. Don't let this be real. That is the biggest thought for me in the bargaining stage is I don't want this. I don't want this to be real. It's sort of that denial. What do I have to do to make it not real?
Yes.
Because it, like you said, it's our lack of control. So what can we do that we can control?
Yeah.
And the reality is, and then when you hit that end of that bargaining stage, the reality is there's nothing you can do. You're now irrevocably a different person.
Yes.
Period. There's no going back. And things are going to be different.
And we don't want that. We don't like that. And so I think that's where the part where the bargaining comes in is we know that's what's on the other end of this, and we don't want that.
All right, you want to talk about the next stage number 5?
Oh yeah. So stage number 5, is the depression stage. Person may experience feelings of emptiness and intense sadness, withdrawing from daily activities, not doing the things that you love, self-isolation. It's It's a tough stage, but it is one that is necessary. It is a necessary step to get through the healing.
But let me make this very clear. Depression looks different to everyone.
Mm-hmm. And sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, and I was going to say, and to go along with that, just because someone doesn't look depressed doesn't mean they're not dealing with depression. Some people have high functioning depression. Yeah. in case anyone didn't catch the hint, yeah.
Yeah, massively. I could be massive, like I am taking double doses of my medication and like in a place where my therapist is checking in on me every day, and on the external, like you're getting up, you're getting dressed, you're brushing your teeth, you're getting your job done. I can be completely disassociated, completely depressed. No one knows. I'm not crying. Mm-hmm. I'm eating. That doesn't mean that you're not depressed. Mm-hmm. It just means you're functioning. You're executing the jobs that you need to do because
you're keeping yourself alive.
Keeping children
sometimes.
alive.
Yeah. Now, and other people not. We're talking specifically like high functioning, to people with high functioning depression, as opposed to other people. Other people for depression looks completely different. But it is a stage that hits.
Yes, and that's very much how it is. Like, like you see a lot of these commercials and a lot of things where it's like you see the happy face, and that's a trauma response, and you're trained that way. But inside, in your head, that's when my intrusive thoughts become the worst. My thoughts of, what does it matter if I'm here or not? It's not going to matter. Even though it looks like, there's been times where I've been severely, like scarily close to getting some inpatient help depressed. And I've been streaming and people have been just like, you're just such a happy, nice person. I'm like, you have no freaking clue. And the moment I would click off, I'm like, it doesn't look. Mm-hmm. But depression can look that way. And I've had friends swing on the opposite ends where they literally disappear. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what's going on? Mm-hmm. Where I've had to I've gone into their living space and gone, okay, you don't have to say anything, but I'm going to clean this mess up.
Yeah. That's a big help I'm gonna do your dishes. I'm gonna something.
I'm just gonna sit here.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna sit here.
That's the part I think a lot of people can get wrong, is when the person, their friend or the person they loved, when they get into that depressive point, when they hit that depression point, is not letting that sit there and trying to fix the other person, trying to get them through it, because they don't want to sit with that depression with them.
But it's that feeling of hopelessness.
Yeah.
When you're in that grieving process of who you thought you were, mm-hmm. you're feeling I think in that stage, which is why it says it's a necessary step of healing. That is that stage of the allowing everything in. Mm-hmm. Whether it be the reality of the breakup, whether it be the reality of I have now wasted my entire life. Who am I? That's the depression part, is I don't know who I am now. It's that depression of, this is my reality now.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And that depression is, shit, I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling shit. And you're allowing yourself in that depressive stage. And your brain is just doing the thing. It is doing the processing. And that's going to take as long as it's going to take. And it's going to look like however it takes. Now, don't let it, if you're in a place where you think about, and this is my disclaimer, it's like if you're in a place where the intrusive thoughts get to be too much, absolutely reach out for professional help, and don't be ashamed of that, because I know I have. I know I have. Like, I can tell you, October 2024, my therapist, I was just like, I was in a bad place. And like Shawn and Jay, and it's just like, they didn't do anything. They literally just sat on video call and just sat with me while I laid in bed. And Shawn the other day, have you eaten? Shut up. Because in case you don't know, and in case like I know Eric had said this earlier, I'm struggling this week especially, but the past month has been rough. But I'm struggling. Do I have better tools to handle and try to navigate through that? Yes, but that doesn't mean that I am not suffering. And it's rough. And it's hard to get out of bed every day. This past week has been rough. Just to make it out of bed. But I do. And I get showered and I go to work and I take care of my kids. But that doesn't mean that in my head and in my body, it's not a struggle just to breathe some moments. And I am struggling. But I'm also understanding that this is where I'm at and that this is a catalyst for change. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't suck like balls.
Yeah.
All right, take it away, Shawn. Take away depression for me. Take this.
Wait. Are you bargaining?
No. I'm gonna need you to take this. Yeah.
I was gonna take it from the perspective of someone who has someone else that is not trying to fix it, not trying to fix the depression, and if you are in that state, if you are in the depression, oh, Nerdy Will,
thanks,
that's
Nerdy
awesome.
Will.
Thanks, Nerdy Will. Yeah, ads suck. We know ads totally suck. Is giving yourself some grace, understanding that's where you're at, accepting that's normal. It's okay to be there. And sometimes everything is a victory. Every small thing is a victory. Brushing your teeth is a victory. When you're in that state, take the win, take the W. Brushing your teeth, taking a shower, doing the dishes, getting out of bed sometimes is the W. It is a state that you are in, that it is normal, and you're going to get through it. But it's okay to be there. That you're not a bad person for it. Doesn't make you a bad person. Doesn't make you a bad friend. Doesn't make you a terrible anything. Doesn't make you a burden. I'm sorry.
bitch, I saw that. No, listen, fucker. Listen.
I'm sorry. I leaned a little close to the mic, didn't I?
Listen, okay. No. All right, listen, Linda. I hear you.
I mean, I'm not exactly exclusive from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm talking to myself. But yeah. So.
All right.
All right.
Stop calling me out. Yeah. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when you're depressed, it's easy to. This is also an easy phase where you can be like, you're a burden. It's silly. You shouldn't be. Sometimes, especially when you're sad about a breakup, a lot of people are like, "You're better off without him." You're ready, but the reality is like you're gonna be sad about it, even if it was a good thing. And then those are the people that you need to go, okay, what do you need? And if you don't know what you need, that's okay too. So here, I'm gonna start throwing cookies at you. I'll start throwing something at you. Like I'll do what I need to do, but it's okay to be sad, and we'll be sad for as long as you not pressuring you. Like, especially if you're in a breakup or whatever, not pressuring. You need to just go out and find it. You'll feel better about yourself or whatever. Like, that's not. Just let yourself be sad. And that's going to take a month, a year. It's fine. It's okay.
It's going to take how long it takes.
Just wake up every day.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the big thing. That's the goal every day, especially when you're in a depressed stage of whatever sort. Just wake up every day.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever happens after that, that's a win.
Absolutely.
You made the most horrible thing they said to me. What do you mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
What did we make? What did we do?
I'm confused by that.
Sorry. Like, did we do something wrong? I'm not quite sure. Like, what does that mean?
Asta, you are not a burden.
Nope.
Out there.
Well, welcome to the club of we don't ask for help because we think that we're a burden. Like,
I will do everything possible to help you.
I am aromantic, and people always said you haven't met the right. Oh, that's stupid. That's dumb.
Yeah,
that's dumb. I'm sorry. Okay, I shouldn't say that. I do not believe that.
It's insensitive.
I do not believe that whole, just because they feel like they are fulfilled by having somebody else in their life does not mean that you can't be fulfilled being single just as you are.
Right.
You can find love and fulfillment within friendships, within you can find love and fulfillment just within yourself. So the fact that you don't need you don't need a romantic partner to be a whole person and to find a fulfilling, successful life. And it's just the same when those couples who are like, well, don't you want children? Just because you think that you should have children or whatever that is, doesn't mean that somebody else, like, that you can have a full, they are just projecting onto you, and that is completely not true.
Yeah. And when you grow up in the church, that is a significant part of life, is when are you getting married, and then once you're married, when are you having kids, and so.
I have kids.
I don't.
It doesn't mean Shawn's life is any less fulfilling.
Nerdy Wheels, I proved the same thing you did.
Yeah.
All right. Last step?
No. Sixth step.
No. Sixth step. Well, that isn't the last. Oh, that isn't the last step. Never mind. You're right. Yeah. Okay. Sixth step.
We can go through the two together, though. I mean,
okay.
6 steps. Testing. Testing is a process of trying to find solutions that offer a means of dealing with the loss. Someone may drift in and out of other grieving stages during this time. Yeah. So, like when we were talking about like the depression stage or the bargaining stage, what do I got to do? What do I got to do to do this? Like, okay, I'm going to try this. Maybe this won't. Maybe this won't. Maybe, like, especially when this is a popular one when you're grieving a relationship, the hoe phase.
Yeah.
The glow up phase.
The glow. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
maybe if I like get healthier, maybe this is like I'm gonna try this.
I'm gonna start working out. I'm gonna start doing this. I'm gonna start
doing all the things that they didn't let me do, or I'm gonna like all of this. Like, you're just testing the waters. You're just trying, and yes, this is one of those ones that just it happens in various and you're going to be testing those waters all throughout the grieving
and it looks
process.
very different for everybody.
Right. And when it comes to like for me in this the testing stage in like the reality of like I'm not hard to love, it's like, okay, so the big thing for me is like when I'm in a stage of depression, reaching out to someone and going, and allowing them to love me when I am in a difficult state of being, an emotional, mental state of being. That's testing the waters for me. That's going, I'm going to do something different, which is reaching out instead of internalizing everything. See, okay, is this going to help? Is this the thing? And sometimes it does bite you in the ass. And sometimes they slap you and you're like, oh, okay. And sometimes it looks like a positive thing at first and then turns into a real negative. And then you got to like, okay, well, that's not working.
That's why it's testing. You're seeing what works. You're trying. You're going to do something different.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the last stage.
Oh, the last one. Oh, the last one is the acceptance stage.
Yeah.
The final stage, the final boss of the grieving process. um, it- for acceptance does not mean that you have to feel okay about the laws, and I think that was a tough one for me. Is going,
Oh, what? Shut up?
yeah, right. Is that if I feel okay, that means I didn't grieve enough, or if I feel okay, that means this, that something's wrong, that I couldn't feel. If I felt okay, that means I couldn't feel this other thing. It's like I couldn't entertain that two things were existing at the same time.
Complete
Right?
acceptance? Stop it.
I know. What? Rather, it means they realize that loss is the new reality. This is what's happening now. This is your life now. And it doesn't, and no matter how much you fight and claw and bargain for it, this is life. This is the part where you finally get to and you go, okay, well, this is it. This is where I'm at, and this is what's happening, and this is what happened, and
I'm a different person now. My life looks different now.
Life looks different now. Yep.
Even if you, like, I think that's the thing. Like, even if you'll never be the same. I think whenever you feel that type of realization, that shock, that trauma, because it is trauma, and then you go through the process of healing and accepting, and you come to that acceptance phase. You accept that the pain will probably still be there. Maybe not, but you accept that this is a reality. And that you are different, and that life is different, and your values and how you think about yourself and how you think about relationships and how you think about is different. You see the world differently, and there's no way around that, and you accept that, and you've come to embrace the journey. And I think that so many people fear the big choices in life because of that.
Yeah. It's easier to deal with what we know than what we don't know, even when what we know is unhealthy.
That's why a lot of people, when they get to this stage, especially DBT in the radical acceptance part, this is the hard part. This is the hard part. This is the one that a lot of like, and I remember when I first started my DBT journey, and for those who don't know, it's dialectical behavior therapy. And which fucking saved my life for real. Like, it really did. And my therapist now is throwing in some CBT, so that's fun, which is cognitive behavior therapy. Once we got all the physical stuff down, we're going through the brain. But that's the part where a lot of people go back. Like, nah, I don't want to go backwards, but get hung up. Because it's that accepting. It's that acceptance that you can still hurt and still be hurting, but understand it and still move on.
Yes.
It's that, and it's the reality of taking both. It's the two halves of the same coin. It's taking that in as a whole package, and it's hard. That is the hard part, because we as humans want to go, it has to be one or the other. If I'm still hurting, I can't move on. Then that doesn't mean that I haven't moved on. Then that's not reality. You have moved on. You're still just still feeling the hurt.
Yeah. The hurt just doesn't magically go away. It will be there. It could be there for a long time.
Right.
But that does not mean you are not capable and ready to move on.
And move forward.
And I think that moving on is actually the thing that can help with the hurt.
But it's just like when you lose somebody, when somebody dies. When you think of them, you think, and it's like when it's fresh and you constantly think of them, you feel that pain, that hurt. And over time, yes, you will still miss them, and it still hurts. But then your brain comes to that acceptance place of, it hurts because they're no longer there. But now I can accept that they're no longer here, and and it opens up that part of yourself to go, but I did really have some great times. And you're able to think about them in that whole, think of it in the inside out, or it's that bittersweet, happy and sad feeling. It's that combination feeling, and that's the overall acceptance of that. I know for me, when I came to that realization, I'm not hard to love. I mean, that hurts me. That still hurts. That's still like as you saw today. Like, it's just the thought of that still hurts. But I am happy to understand and know that I'm not hard to love, and I never was hard to love, and that's not on me, and that still hurts. But I am living in the acceptance that I'm not hard to love, and that's okay, and that I am building myself towards a different person, a better person that doesn't change my past. It doesn't change my reality. It just changes where I go in the future. And it's that acceptance of both. That's hard. And I talk about it in therapy all the time. I have some DBT, and CBT made me struggle even more. Oh, I'm sorry. Like, DBT and CBT both, like, I mean, they and in Asta's defense, not all tools work for all people.
That's true. Yeah.
That's why grieving never looks the same on all people. Depression doesn't look the same. Whatever, trauma does not look the same on any other person. So what tools work for me may not work for Shawn. And that is something that Shawn and I had to struggle with a lot.
Yes, it was. That was a big struggle for me, is that this is working for you. Why isn't it working for me?
Right.
You're growing in this area. Why am I not growing in this area? Yeah.
I'm using the same tool. Well,
yeah.
You need a screwdriver, but you're using a hammer. But my job calls for a hammer and not a screwdriver. So, I mean, it's very much, it's okay. Whatever tools work for you. And that's cool.
It's finding that tool. And that's why there's when you're looking for a therapist, there's so many different tools that they offer, so many different methods that they use, because they don't all work the same for everybody.
Yeah,
so
it's different.
I like so yeah.
All right, hey Shawn, why don't you do that last line right there, that last bullet point right there that's highlighted, that last one? Why don't you go over that one?
The last one.
Why don't you read that for our? Why don't you talk about that one?
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Right, the last one is building a life that feels like yours, not a performance. I feel like, are you trying to insinuate something?
Would never.
What? No. Yeah, that has been a big part of my journey for a while. Figuring out what is my life, because again, people pleasing, codependence, like everything was about everything was about everybody else. It was defining myself based upon what other people wanted, what other people thought of me. It's just kind of morphing, and so it's been a part of my therapy. It's a big part is, what is it that I want to do? What is it that I want to be? Where do I see? What am I interested in? What do I want to do? And that is that's a hard thing for me to do.
Do the things that your future self will thank you for.
Yeah.
And that's hard. It's hard. Because I don't know what my future self looks like. Building a life that feels like yours. What is that?
What does it mean to feel like mine?
Yeah, what's mine? Especially when you're in the church, everything is somebody else's. Even your entire life, your life itself, your very existence on this planet does not belong to you.
Yep.
What does that look like? And it's that paralyzing reality. It is paralyzing. I don't know, for me. I don't know about you, Shawn.
It is
fucking paralyzing and terrifying, because I remember when my therapist asked me, it's like, okay, what, like, especially like when you go into therapy and they're like, what are your goals to get better?
Yeah. Yeah.
What does that look like?
not getting
You're
worse.
You're supposed to tell. You're the therapist. That's what I was like. You're
Do
the
your
therapist.
job.
Tell me. I don't know. Like, no, this is your therapy. Oh, I want to get better. Fix me. Like, she's like,
Exactly.
and I mean, we make a joke of it, but it is like, I know for me, it was, I sat there for a good solid minute in silence. I'm like, I don't know. I think if you ask me this day, what is building a life? Am I building a life that's mine? I think I'm working toward it, but I don't know. Like, it's not very clear. And I want to make that abundantly clear to my community when in regards, when you look at me, don't think that I've got it figured out, because I don't. I'm a fucking mess. I am a mess. Do I laugh it off with humor? Do I look like, I have it all? I don't. But I mean, have I things that have worked? Have I grown? Yes, because I'm less of a mess now than I was 2 years ago or 3 years ago. I mean, fuck. Look at the stuff when I first started recording. Look at my early YouTube stuff. Like, let's just look at that shit and how I had no clue.
We'll do a reaction video to it.
Maybe we should do that this afternoon. That would be fun.
Oh, that would be fun.
But I mean, I don't know. I am actually currently facing some choices for myself. There are things that I know in reality I need to make and that I need to do to build a better life for myself. But with that comes struggles. And are the struggles going to be worth, like, is the benefit going to be the payout? And I don't know that. There's no way I can 100% go, yes, this is the right choice for me. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. But I'm going to make this very clear in my life. Most of the choices I make always come with question marks. May I ask what better feels to you, seeing you said you want to get better? That's a very valid question. Mm-hmm. And if I'm being really honest, better changes. Better changes. And it changes with the work that I do, and it changes with the experiences that I'm going through in life. 2 years ago, 2.5, 3 years ago, I was suffering from massive emotional, BPD, like borderline personality disorder, those thought processes, and severe anxious attachment styles, and it was that constant feeling of loss and anxiety and fear and shame. And for me at that point, 3 years ago, better just looked like I just wanted to be able to feel calm and safe. I wanted to be able to face emotional problems or any type of adversity, whether it be a personal conflict or a professional conflict, any type of conflict, where my life, and I did not take it as a full-on personal attack, and I didn't fall apart. That's what better looked like for me 3 years ago. Better for me now looks different, because I am facing the same types of adversities that I did 2 years ago, very similar. But now I'm able to, better, what it looks like for me is like, okay, I want to be better. So what does that look like? Like the choices that I'm making. How am I making those choices? I want to be better in navigating those waters. I'm still struggling with that. I still struggle with negative self-talk. I still struggle with my world's going to fall apart and I'm a failure, and the shame. Getting better is a constant everyday battle, and getting better and healing myself is a constant thing. And your goals are allowed to change. And your goals should change.
Yeah, if you're growing, they should, yeah.
Absolutely.
As you said, what you work on a couple years ago should not be the same thing that you're working on now. Not the exact same. They may be along the same similar lines as you progress, but they shouldn't be exactly the same.
It's like breaking a leg, a severe fracture in your leg. Mm-hmm. Okay, a multi-fracture. Okay, compound fracture. That's what we call it, compound fracture. You set that. You deal with the big immediate bleed out. Okay, you're bleeding out. It's sticking out of your bones. Okay, they have to reset it. You put the pins in it. All right, you're not bleeding out. Step one.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get into then your body needs to let itself heal. That's step 2. And then step 3, you learn how to deal, because the break is always going to be there. You're never going to go back. That is never going to be a whole bone again. You've got pins, you got these things. Mm-hmm. It's learning to live and to walk and to function. You're learning your limitations. It's that type of process. You deal with the major bleeding out. Then you start with you're surviving now. Now you're learning to heal. Mm-hmm. And then after you learn your healing, then you learn how to thrive. And that's a sort of simplified version of what I see myself doing that. I have dealt with the major bleeding out. I'm just trying to stay alive. And then I'm in that healing stage right now. I think I'm still in that healing stage of I'm no longer trying to survive, but I'm still trying to heal. And I feel like I'm working towards getting to the stage of I'm learning how to make now choices where I thrive. But I'm not there yet, and I want to be there. I'm like, oh. So it's just like one of those, just take the wins when you can.
And realize that it is I think it's a progression. For me, it's understanding that you get there once. Like when I first started, I expected, well, once I go from A to B, I'm good. Well, I've won therapy because I've gone from A to B. And like, it gets easier, right? Once you fix this thing, it gets easier. And then I got to B and went, why is it not easier? It's supposed to be easier. Well, it's because now I'm going from B to C. I wasn't done. That was just a step in the journey. So now I haven't won therapy. Now it's B to C. Well, that's hard. Yeah, it's gonna be hard. It doesn't get easy. The healing journey isn't easy, but it's worth it. Because you're always...
Sorry.
I was going to say, because you're picking your hard, whether you realize it or not, you're picking your hard.
Are we now, Shawn?
Right, we are. Everything I learned from Autumn.
No, everything you learned from... Yeah, well, fair. I mean, that's also fair.
From you, yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, that is something you told me. It is pick your hard.
Pick your hard. I think for me also, you were saying that, and I always, in my past, because I've been in therapy since I was 9, in and out of therapy since I was 9. I would always stop therapy and think I was better after I dealt with the bleeding out part.
Mm-hmm. The crisis part. Yeah.
And so what really has changed in the past 3 years with how I've approached my therapy and getting better and becoming better and healing myself is I didn't stop at okay. Because at that point I thought, well, I'm done, right? Like, there's nothing really to talk about, but there is. I just had to understand that there was, okay, we are no longer in survival mode. So now let's work on the things. Let's work on the things that are the long-term pain. And that's where I work on getting better. That's where it's that. And so, yeah. And I constantly go through the grieving process. I am constantly doing that. And it's hard. Because I dealt with one trauma. Okay, everything's better, right? Okay, let's dig a little deeper. I'm like, fuck. Just when you think you can't go any deeper, just when you think that you're done.
There's another layer.
Especially when you're as traumatized as I am. I've gone through too much shit.
Yeah, you finally get a handle of one of them, and you're like, okay, good. And then the therapist asked the question, and it pokes at the next layer, and you went, oh.
Is it the worst part? Here's the worst part, Shawn. I don't know about you. It's like when you mention something that you think is innocuous. when you're going through, and then you're like, well, it's what, well, you know, blah blah blah, like XYZ, and then they're like, wait, let's go back, and you're like, what? Like, because you don't think that that's a red flag or something you need to work on until it comes out your mouth, and then they're like, ooh, time out.
I had one of those just yesterday with my therapy session.
Isn't that fucking bullshit?
He asked me a question and I answered it, and he was like, we're gonna stop you right there.
Okay, we're gonna stop. Okay, let's start.
Like, yeah, I'm like, oh.
And they always get the same expression on their face, don't they? They're just like, and then they
now
lean
what
forward.
I'm hearing is,
and then you're like, God fucking damn it.
And then the rest of the entire time becomes about that one word or sentence that I said. That is the entire session. I'm like, oh God.
And then they start they're not telling you. They just start asking you questions. And because you've said, they start unraveling it. And then like, they start asking you questions. And because you've gotten so far and like enough in your healing that you start answering them. And as they're asking you the questions, and you start answering honestly, that's what you start realizing, and you're like, fucking shit.
No, yeah. You cracked the little light, and you dropped it down and you're like, oh yeah, I see where this is going.
We're going spelunking again.
We're gonna be here a while.
We're going deep in the drama. Okay.
All right. Yeah, when you've been in therapy long enough, you start to see where they're going with this. You kind of run on ahead, and you're like, "Oh God! All right, here we go. Let's just go with it.
Let's do it. You strap on.
Don't fight it. Don't fight it. Just let it happen."
That's hard. I know that's hard.
Therapy. Yay.
Okay, so that we don't leave our lovely community thinking that therapy is such a dramatic thing.
Isn't it? Wait, it's not.
Oh my God. Oh no.
No, my therapist said one of the hardest things that said to me at the end of my session, one of the hardest things is that's for me to hear. You're doing a good job. No, hold on. I wasn't ready for that one. I'm sorry, what?
You overcame trauma, got help, left unhelpful because yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was not easy.
No, it is not. Recovering from religious trauma is a lifelong. Because
and I think that if you are, especially somebody who is in strict evangelical belief system, as Shawn and I were, it is actual. Do not try to brush over that when you're in therapy.
I tried, it didn't work.
No, because that does shape. Especially if you're whole, like if it's one thing, like it is one thing if you were the strict evangelical and your other family wasn't, but if you grew up in that belief system, not only do you have familial trauma, but you also have that religious trauma. And it's really important for your therapist to know that. Because it does shape how you were raised. It does shape your belief system. It does shape how you see things, because Christianity is built, as Shawn and I have said multiple times, built on shame. It's built on specific thought processes and how we see the world and shape the world. Nora made cupcakes. She's very excited about that.
Oh, I want cupcakes.
Thanks for mentioning that often. Yes. So, I mean, that was the big thing that, like, I know that for those who've been watching for a while, that I've, my therapist, my last two therapists before the current one, they moved on to different things and better things for themselves, which is fine. But I always make sure to mention that I have religious trauma. And it's like, oh, well, you're just being over dramatic. No, I'm not. Because the religious aspect, the religious beliefs, the way I was raised, influenced my family system, which then influenced my attachment issues, which influenced my how I thought about myself, how I saw myself. That is an important part of that.
Mm-hmm. The first time I mentioned it, I felt like what you just said, like I was being over dramatic. Like I didn't grow up like they show in the movies when they
like
illustrate
like a cult.
Well,
yeah, like I mean, yes, I mean we call it a cult.
The
all the
kind
time.
of cult that is illustrated in like media or movies and whatever like that. I didn't grow up like that. So if I didn't grow up like that, then by saying I got religious trauma, that's like being over dramatic. That's really how I felt the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Then I started digging into it, and I had a therapist that took that honestly, that took that seriously. And oh yeah, it absolutely affects. It has a massive impact on my life.
Mm-hmm.
It still does. It will for a long time. So it is not being so growing up. When you grow up in that type of environment, it absolutely plays a part in your life.
Oh, absolutely. So yes, Eric, if that is something that you've been trying to gloss over, I'm not saying that you should. Again, we are not professionals. We are not professionals. Again, this is our own personal opinion, but I know that my healing and my approach to therapy changed a lot when I stopped trying to gloss over and run from the massive effects that religion had on my upbringing and who I was and how I saw myself. And remember, I wasn't part of the church since I was like 18, 19. So it still had an effect on me, even though I wasn't involved in the church 30 years later. Not 30 years, like 20 years later. But so it does still have an effect on you. We've had this podcast for going on 4 years now? Oh my God. It's almost been.
Yeah. Is it 3 years, 4 years?
21, April. 22, 23, 24, 4 years. Because.
Oh my God. Yeah, you're right.
4 years now.
Wow.
I mean, we're still here, still talking about, we're still here, still talking about the religious trauma and, I mean, how it affects our lives. So, I mean, we're here 4 years later, still talking about it.
Just because you don't give credence to something, to an event or to a period of time or just because you don't give credence to that does not mean it isn't important.
Yeah.
And I've hit that several times. So, yeah. All right.
Now that we have triggered ourselves enough that we're going to get through this Saturday. Yay!
Awesome.
Oh, okay. So, with that, thank you for being here with our Sunday podcast.
Sunday fun day.
Yes, Shawn also has his podcast tonight. Let's build with Pep.
Yep. So I'm continuing the Viking Village. We 2 bags in, got like 13 more to go. It's looking pretty awesome. So join me tonight, 6:30 Eastern on my channel. You can click my name if you're not following. You just click my name and you can follow from there.
What name? Click it where?
In Twitch. If you're in the Twitch chat, you can click my name in the Twitch chat. If you want to.
Oh, and then on Tuesday we have 3 Bards and a Dragon, which is our RPG podcast on Tuesdays on twitch.tv/team_AOA. That's a lot of fun. Yeah, there's all our shit right there. Follow us.
Yeah, I'm putting it there.
And join our Discord. We are working on trying to add more things onto our Discord, be more active. I have actually considered just starting to stream just gaming whenever I'm gaming, which is not very often, and then just sitting in the Discord chat to see if anybody shows up.
I've heard about a lot of communities are starting to do that, just sitting in Discord and letting having an open door,
right?
Where people just join and
that
would be fun.
And then Wednesdays we have our Tainted Jay. He's not Tainted Jay anymore. It just feels weird. It's Jay. It's just like don't call me a Roogs anymore. Like a Roogs sounds weird. Like speaking of growth, but we have TJ. He does house flippers, Yeah.
Yep, he's been flipping houses, like flipping tables. Just
I was
knocking
expecting
them over.
more snark. He doesn't give as much snark as I was expecting.
Yeah, Jay has not been as snarky when he's flipping houses.
I know. Maybe it's cathartic. I mean, I'm here for the cathartism. Is that it?
Now, I think if you want to get him snarky, just cash in your points for.
But he's put a limit on the coffee one. He's put it on like
rude.
Rude.
Jay, let us have our fun.
Right.
At your expense.
And then yeah. So and then yeah.
Last thing.
Oh. Okay. For those of you, there is like a little fly that is flying around, and he's
get it.
So I'm not like crazy, y'all.
No, you're not crazy.
A little gnat. So we are, Team AOA is going to be at Con Carolinas this year, and we have our own discount code because I don't have a bad salesman over promising deadlines. Pep.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, open up the Discord, Jay. Let us in. Let us in.
Yeah.
Let us in. Let's see how snarky you get then. All right. So.
Hey, Nev.
So, yes. So we're going to be at Con Carolinas this year, and we'll be hosting several panels. We have a lot of we've helped actually create some of the panel content for the content creation track. We got the list of all of the panels, and they all are like. I'm so excited. They are fire. Like all of the tracks. So if you happen to have the desire to travel to Charlotte, which maybe you should, or if you have, or you're going to be, I know, you're going to be in the area. It's in May, the last weekend of May and Memorial Day weekend. Use Team AOA and you get 25% off your passes. It's going to be a good time. I'm going to be doing my dragon cosplay.
Oh, heck yeah.
Jay's
3D
printing me a big ass tail. Like no little wimpy tail this year. No, I'm gonna have like.
You're gonna hurt people, yeah.
I am. Yeah. The end of my tail. I'm just saying.
It's gonna be epic.
You better wear like leather armor.
I'm gonna have to wear armor. Yeah. Oh, you just want me to wear leather? Okay, I got it. All right.
Well, we also will be streaming some of our stuff through the Team AOA channel. So if in case you missed it, we'll definitely be streaming our panels for sure. Mm-hmm. And we'll be random streaming, live IRL streaming, which we did last year throughout the con. So if you can't make it, I know for all of our overseas friends, we'll definitely be sharing a lot of that. So
look for the notifications, make sure you're following for it. Both our Discord and Twitch notifications have been a little wonky lately, so make sure you're looking for both Discord and Twitch notifications.
Yes. So with that, we love you. Thank you for letting us be a little late today because, well, Windows. Microsoft.
Windows. Yeah, exactly. That's right.
All right. And you guys have a great Sunday. We'll see you later.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Did you really just high five over me right
No,
now?
we didn't.
Okay, we're live.
Hey.
Hello.
Last week,
You don't even do that well from the front seat.
Okay.
And the bear's coming with the cup and spoon.
That's a straight up PBR for the table.
Yeah.
I think it called.
She ain't judging us at all.